in this episode of Deep Six.
And as you look down towards the mansion, you see there seems to be a light which is approaching. Suddenly, you see the man from before. Who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck are you?
Every night I close my eyes, wonder where I go when I die. Underneath the surface I hear voices, just keep on pushing me down, trying to get to heaven, but it's all hell. And every day I wake up I still wonder if I'm dead or alive. 6 feet deep, deep six, sitting in the middle of heaven and hell. And every day I wake up I still wonder if I'm dead or alive. You know I'm undercover, underground.
You're watching Ruby as she's looking through these clothes and trying to find something for you to wear. For some reason, she just looks really old. I mean, like she looks older than she was before. You can see, some of her kind of white fur around her face starts to go a bit grayer, a bit darker. And yeah, you're just not feeling too spiffy right now. Just dog tired. Maybe it was wandering around in the sewers or hot shower. Just finally the day caught up with you. But yeah, you're not feeling too great. All right. Anything else you guys want to do? All dressed up as far as kit you're taking with you, or?
No, I'll keep the same kit that the technician kit that I still had.
Okay. You can also replenish anything that you may have used.
I'll add an extra smoke bomb since
Okay, so you restock that.
Yeah.
All right, so you're back to 3 smoke vials, a bug, and one health potion injector.
Yeah, no, I think I'm
just going to switch to the infiltration box. So I've now got a cloak, boots, and a firearm, which I might need.
Okay. So the hook shot is essentially a firearm, but what it fires is a grappling hook, essentially. So you can use it to scale a tall wall or however you want to use it. The cloak that you take out as you kind of throw it around your opera gown that you have, and you kind of turn your back to Mac. Mac, you notice that she kind of shimmers and disappears. So you just see, when she turns around, you just see her head, but then it kind of flashes back. She's not constantly obscured. It was just kind of, as she's putting it on, taking it off, you get the feeling this is kind of like just a little glimmer of what its ability is. Alice kind of pipes up at that point and she said, one thing about that, it doesn't really work all the time. You have to be in a little bit of shadow for it to be working. She kind of holds it up for a minute. She says, there's a tag in the back and it says, made from real displacer beast. The boots, as far as you can tell, are just boots.
Okay. Do they look good?
Are you asking Alice?
Yeah.
Okay. So Alice does tell you that these boots are great for sneaking around.
Okay.
They are silent boots. So you have essentially pass without a trace, which I can explain that as well. Okay. So you have once per long rest, you can cast pass without trace. You radiate a concealing aura in a 30-foot emanation for the duration. So while in the aura, you and each creature you choose have a +10 bonus to dexterity or stealth checks and leave no tracks. Anything else you guys want to do?
No, I think I'm stocked up, ready to go.
All right, so you guys make your way back to the courtyard, to Chandelier Court, to the charity gala. It is evening, and you see several patrons beginning to arrive and make their way up the grand entrance that you saw earlier. Someone has come along and closed the grate. You noticed that you opened up earlier, so the grate is closed in the fountain. And you noticed that the mansion is lit from the outside with some torches as well, and that gate is closed entirely. And you do hear dogs barking from the mansion. The orphanage looks to be quieted down for the evening. You don't see any children out or anyone else out. You do see a few rooms which are lit, but you get the feeling that they're kind of putting everyone to bed. It is probably 8 or 9 p.m.
Yes, no problem. Let's.
Okay. All right. So there is a gentleman there taking names. You're kind of ticking them off of a list at the door, and you politely wait your turn. And as you approach, he says, "Yes, and who might I be accepting?" And he's kind of looking over some thin spectacles at this bunny wearing kind of an opera costume. So think of, kind of Bugs Bunny opera costumes. So you're wearing this kind of backless toga with kind of an armor-plated bustier type thing, and flowing bottom half to that ensemble. There's kind of a chain belt that goes with it, and some sandals. But you look like someone out of an opera, not necessarily out of place for Verdencia. Lots of people wear masks daily in Verdencia. And while it does initially seem a bit extreme, the look on his face is one of, oh, that's different. He kind of glances at you strangely for a moment, but then is like, well, at these types of events, we do get all sorts. Name, please.
Ruby Wings Tail.
Tail, Winks Tail, Winks Tail. And it's just kind of going through the list. And he goes, Winks Tail, a late edition. And he kind of ticks the box. And he looks over to you. And who might you be? And he's just kind of looking you up and down at this rather... Which outfit did you decide to go with?
The aristocrat clothes.
The kind of plain ones.
Yeah, plain ones.
So it doesn't really, look sideways at that, other than the fact that you're 7 feet tall. And who might you be?
Well, I would say this is my +1.
Of course. Name?
Oliver Stonewell.
Stonewell. And she drops that down as well and just kind of steps aside and ushers you in. The gala is very large and very ornate. This is by far the cleanest thing in Chandler Court that you have seen. The floor is immaculate, well polished. The official purpose for this is obviously fundraising, and there are several paintings scattered about the place, and they're all of Wainwright holding children or standing smiling next to children. And he looks like a completely different version of himself. His cheeks are fuller. He's more full of life. Looks to be a bit younger. And you don't know if this is just artist perception or, if maybe they were done quite a long time ago. It does not remind you of the Wainwright that you saw earlier that afternoon. There are several members or patrons who have already arrived, and they're wandering around looking at the artworks and different things. And this is sort of a silent auction type situation. So there are donation boxes set out in front of the pieces, as well as there's a small ensemble set up in the corner who is kind of lightly playing music. You see a couple of members from what you assume to be the Dawn Shore Consulate. They're wearing whites and golds. A couple of them are wearing masks, but mostly they don't need to wear masks. These are the beautiful people of the world, and they like to show it off. So they are heavily, they're wearing a lot of makeup, and they're very much into their beauty products, but they look amazing, but they also look like they kind of stand off to themselves. One person you see is wearing radiant robes toned down to kind of more appropriate golds, but their smile is immaculate. You notice they're watching other people. They seem to be looking around at some of the other patrons which are there, and then coming back and having a bit of conversation. You're kind of watching them have some interaction with people as they pass by, and they're being very cordial. And again, this gleaming smile, but you notice that when whoever they're speaking to leave, the smile goes away, right? You also see that they are speaking to another member of the Dawn Shore. Simple formal dress, seems to be kind of uncomfortable around all of this. She's wearing spectacles, and you get the feeling that she doesn't feel comfortable around so much excess. That maybe she's not quite as used to this as what some of the other patrons might be. She does go up at one point and begin to speak to Halvard, but you're too far away to hear that conversation. She's also carrying what looks to be a ledger of some kind with her, and she's got there's papers sticking in and out of it, and she's kind of shifting through it as she's following Wainwright. And he doesn't seem to be giving her the time of day, or is avoided of her. The other person that you see which stands out is a tiefling gentleman who is wearing black formal wear with a kind of subtly reflective thread. So it's black, but it's shiny black. But he's kind of staying to the corners of the room, always slightly in shadow of some of the decorations or something. He's not standing in the middle of the room. He's just kind of making his way around to different conversations. He also goes up to Havric occasionally and has something to say. You see, in addition to those three, you do see several other members of each of the factions. People who are clearly from the courts, people who are from the Umbral Council, as well as people who are from the Dawn Shore. You also see some independent civic figures there. You would notice one of the matrons from the orphanage, which you saw earlier kind of wrangling the children. She is now cleaned up a bit, but she's still wearing her matronly robes. She seems a bit frazzled. She avoids Havric. Anytime he comes to her side of the room, she shudders a little bit and moves away. Her hands seem to shake when the music crescendos. She seems a bit nervous. And in the far corner of the room, she glances towards the cellar doors, which lead to the side exit that you saw earlier. That she's kind of keeping her eye on the exit. She's not really wanting to be here. That's about it.
I think we need to take a look around, maybe speak to some people. I also have this bug on me that I would quite like to put on Wainwright. I've not thought about how I will do that yet.
Yeah.
That might be something I'll leave to you.
Okay.
And you're a little bit more inconspicuous than I am. And you've also spoken to him before.
I have.
That might make things easier.
We can't mix our boxes, but I have the cloak with me and the hook shot and the stealth boots. So
You could trade things back and forth.
Like once you've taken it, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you've taken it, we can use it how we like. But it's just, I can probably give you it just to plant on it as well.
Yeah, so I give you my cloak maybe, and then you can be less conspicuous and more easy.
I still think a big 7'2" guy is going to be pretty conspicuous.
Conspicuous?
Yeah.
Even if you're invisible?
Maybe, we could try it. We can try it. And the other person I kind of want to speak to is the lady from the orphanage.
Yeah.
I want to ask her about this child that's gone missing. And also, just from the brief glance that we've had around the room, it doesn't look like she wants to be anywhere near Wainwright. So if there is anything dodgy going on, then she might be the one to tell us.
Yeah, maybe.
I also feel like, don't know, he's this person of interest in all of this, but I don't actually know how he fits into people going missing. I think in my head, I think this guy's the Shadow Man, but does he look like he could?
There's something going on, isn't there? The little girl had said that she thought she saw the Shadow Man one time, and it turned out it was Wainwright.
Yeah.
He looks different now, and the smile sounds weird, like he's possessed or something. There's something odd. Definitely. And he has access. He's right next to the sewer system. Okay, I will take your bug then. I'll go straight over and say hello. I'll rock on up.
All right. Okay, so you are approaching Wainwright. As you approach Wainwright, he's finishing up a conversation with one of the other patrons in the room. And so he is currently speaking to one of the court officials. And so you hear this person He's wearing severe formal wear. The silver spectacles, clearly a member of the court. And you hear the tail end of what he's saying to Wainwright. He says, I'm here to ensure propriety, making sure that these funds are properly divided amongst those in need in this area. And he's kind of directly, pointedly saying this to Halverick. He's very coldly professional, but you get the feeling that he knows Halverick might be up to something. But you get the feeling, again, watching his assistant, who was the one running around with the ledger, you get the feeling that there's something up with the books, that they feel like maybe he's skimming off the top. And put with what you saw from the children in the courtyard earlier that Mac relayed to you, that the kids didn't really look like their clothes were new. They were being provided for, but only the bare minimum. So that would track for you. But you do approach Wainwright as that gentleman walks away.
Okay. I'm going to go speak to Wainwright, and I'm just going to say, what an amazing event. Thank you so much for putting me on the guest list. Please, if there's any way I can help with your organisation, please let me know so you could introduce me to some of your friends.
So you watch as the magistrate leaves, and he kind of takes a sigh of relief and like, God, that guy. But then immediately his kind of faux smile returns as you begin to engage with him. He's like, Miss Winkstail, yes, thank you very much. Do please have a look around and see if there's anything which catches your eye. Remember, it's all for the children. Do mingle as well. There plenty of people here from a variety of different walks of life here in Vecteasy.
I'm gonna see if I can get him to take my arm and introduce me to some people, so that when he takes my arm, I can slip the ladybug into his pocket without moving too much.
Okay. So as you kind of hold your arm out, or your hand out rather, for him to take, I want you to roll a persuasion check with disadvantage because of your exhaustion. Roll again.
19.
Okay, so you take the 13. He does take your arm, and kind of almost like, I really don't have time for this. And he's kind of looking around as if he's looking for someone specifically, but he then comes back to you and smiles and kind of takes your hand and begins to kind of walk with you around some of the exhibits. I mean, he's not really saying much, but he is just kind of walking you around, showing you the different things which are on display. He hasn't really introduced you to anyone yet, but you get the feeling that he's kind of making his way to someone he can pass you off to. So you do have a limited amount of time to make this maneuver. All right.
Okay.
So where do you want to try and hide this bug on him?
I want to just drop it into his pocket.
Okay, kind of into his jacket pocket.
Yeah.
Okay, so you will roll I would say he's rather distracted, not by you, but seemingly by something else. And because of your size, he's quite tall, and so you're closer to his pocket than you are him seeing you do anything. So you would have advantage normally, but because of your exhaustion, those two cancel out. So we'll say that this is a straight sleight of hand check.
Okay.
Okay, so see if you have any pluses or anything to sleight of hand. You should.
So +8 to sleight of hand.
+8.
+8. Jesus.
Hey.
Okay. All right. So it'll be just a straight roll +8. How'd you get a +8? Yeah. So without a doubt, you drop it into his pocket easily. And as you do, so you go to kind of drop it in his pocket, and like, have you ever held like a ladybird and like doesn't want to come off, and it just kind of flitters its way down into his pocket? Buzzes down into his pocket. And as it does, both of you kind of again get this kind of whine and a bit of a muffled echo as you can now hear anything adjacent to Wainwright. Wainwright eventually passes you over into a group of people in the crowd, specifically one of the Dawn Shore members, the younger woman that you saw earlier, which seemed to be rather uncomfortable among the excess. So she seems to be kind of mid-conversation about these poor children. They need everything that we can. We need to make sure that everyone is giving the absolute most that they can at this event. And I think even beyond tonight, we need to reach out and find those with deeper pockets in the city to help these poor, impoverished children and make sure that they have the life that they truly deserve. and she acknowledges you, but no more than she does anybody else in. So he's essentially dumped you off into the middle of this conversation, and everyone's just kind of sipping and listening to this woman. She does introduce herself to you as well as Sister Lena Voss. She seems young and idealistic. Even the other members of the Dawn Shore who are there are just kind of like, yeah. Like, it's like, you get the feeling that maybe she hasn't been an auditor very long, and that maybe she doesn't, she might be a little bit naive for understanding really how the city works. So she seems to be oblivious to even some of the things that are happening here today. Mac, what are you doing?
I guess I'm just kind of milling around the room, half keeping an eye on my bae just to make sure she's not in any trouble. Yeah. Wouldn't say I'm trying to do too much of any one particular thing on top of it, but buggers in place. If I could, try and see if I could get close to the matron from the orphanage, just to keep a wee eye on her as well, just to see if I can get in her vicinity.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, she's pretty much on her own. I mean, she's not there. Like, she's clearly there because he told her to be there, and she's just not really wanting to engage with anyone, but would prefer to engage with other people other than Wainwright. So she's kind of avoiding him by entering other conversations. But you do notice her startling when the music crescendos and stuff. So she seems to be on edge about something.
I think if I can, I'd probably just make my way kind of towards her. Maybe trying to do it subtly, not just like racing across the room to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm trying not to startle her as well. So I'll make sure that she's able to see me properly from the front rather than just appear from behind her.
Right.
Just approach her. Hello, is everything all right?
Yes, thank you. She introduces herself as Mara Bellows.
Lovely to meet you, Mara. My name's Oliver. I must admit, it's fantastic work that you do. These children, looking after these children. From what I've heard this evening.
Thank you. It is a calling. Again, she's kind of looking past you and looking around, and she seems to not be able to find whoever it is that she's looking for, and she keeps glancing over to the open cellar door that the caterers are using, and just kind of maybe half paying attention to your conversation.
I think kind of seeing how distressed that she's looking down at the cellar door, I'm just going to say, Mara, Mr. Wainwright isn't here. Is everything okay?
She's kind of looking around the room, and she does spot Wainwright on the other side of the room, and she says, yes, everything's fine. Everything's fine. As she's saying that, it seems more like she's telling herself than telling you. Just kind of repeating it.
I mean, guessing can I do an insight check or anything just to see
Yep.
Is she genuinely scared of him or?
Yeah, just make an insight check.
I'm gonna roll a dice because I do want to roll a little bit better just to see.
Okay.
So that would be with the dice as well. Cool. So that would be a 21 total.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret. I mean, she's terrified of something. She's not really giving you a lot verbally. You get the feeling that, that whatever it is that is scaring her, is she would be terrified at them finding out if she told anyone. Again, after a few minutes of not really even acknowledging you, other than some general nods and not dismissing, but not really focusing on what you're saying either. Like you feel like you could ask her say anything, and she just kind of nod and agree. And then eventually she just say, "If you'll excuse me, I need to check on the children." And she uses the opportunity, as Wainwright is the furthest away, to go down the cellar stairs and out the door.
Okay, so she's gone. She's left it.
Yeah. You would assume back to the orphanage.
And if that's the case, what I'll do is I'll try and see where. And then slowly just start making our way back.
So as you guys reconvene and are kind of telling each other what happened, you do hear a bit of a muffled conversation. You don't currently see Wainwright at first, but then you look and you see him. He's standing just outside the front door and near the person who was checking names, but he is speaking to what looks to be potentially a groundskeeper or maybe someone who works for him or the orphanage, and this man is holding the leash of a very, very large dog, kind of a wolfhound looking looking beast, very, very tall and slender, but with a long coat. It is pretty impressive animal, but it's now begun to rain a bit outside, and so it's a bit stormy. And they're just kind of standing there in the rain. He's not letting them in, obviously, and he's, "What are you doing here? No, you can't bring that beast inside. What do you want?" And you hear kind of the muffled end. You can't really hear or understand what the man is saying, but Wainwright responds, "You did what? Well, find him. We can't have him running about, creating all sorts of havoc on an evening like this. Either find him, or I will find him." He slams the door. So after some time, the gala ends, and everybody makes their way out. And after a bit of glad-handing and thanking everyone for attending, Wainwright himself also leaves the gala. However, he leaves through the servants' entrance, and when you make your way outside the main doors, you do not see him. So you're not sure where he went after leaving the servants' entryway, but you don't see him in the courtyard. What you do see is a large group of people who are gathered, and this is probably, like, after that interaction, probably an hour or more has passed, and after that interaction, you're some of the last to leave, and you see that many of the attendees are gathered around in almost the exact same spot as earlier. They seem to be gathered with some watch members around what looks to be another body. They're all kind of lit over looking. What do you do?
This is our chance.
You do see the man there with the dog as well. Dog's kind of sniffing
I
around.
think Max got a little bit of sense of dread as people have gathered around, having spoke to Mira. Or Mara, sorry. And I mean, I know that there's this boy, but just kind of begin to push his way into the crowd a little bit, try and look over and see if he can see if there's a body or what
Yeah,
people are gathered around.
So you do recognize the body, and it is the housekeeper from the mansion that you saw entering and exiting earlier.
This is the woman from earlier on in the day. Okay.
Yeah.
So the one that you saw and was quite suspicious of. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the man that you saw speaking with Wainwright earlier is there with the dog, and the dog's kind of sniffing out a few things, and then they head off immediately back towards the mansion, and the dog's kind of sniffing around looking for different things, and you hear the dog howl from a distance after he goes through the gate.
I'm going to put on my invisibility cloak, and I'm going to follow.
The man and the dog?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you follow them, and they don't go into the mansion proper. They kind of skirt around to the back doors and the cellar doors of the property. You manage to just roll a dexterity check for me with disadvantage.
So it was 18.
No, you roll twice and you take the lower.
16.
16. Okay. Yeah. So you manage to kind of slide in behind them, and you're kind of staying up on the stairs as you're kind of watching what's happening in this cellar. The cellar is rather large and grand. There are a couple of casks of old wine or brandy, as well as some more long-term food storage and things, packs of salt, different things what you would expect to see in a cellar, things which have been jarred or stored away for the winter. But on the opposite wall, you see what looks to be, again, maybe some sort of a gated or secure storage area. It's open bars, but instead of anything really being in there, you see more of those cloths, like what you saw earlier. Not the bedding or the toys, but you see these kind of cloths, and you see a lot of bones and different things kicking around, as well as some food bowls and things. You do get the feeling that perhaps this is where the dog stays. And so you see him feed the dog and kind of put the dog away, and he brings it into the kind of caged area, and you expect him just to kind of lock him in there and leave, but he pulls this sphere out of his pocket. And so after the dog has eaten a bit and had a bit of water, he kind of sits in the corner and shies away from the man as he approaches him with this ball. He twists something on the top of this, and you hear this kind of whirring mechanism engage, and the ball springs open, and the dog kind of whimpers a little bit, and then you watch as the dog blinks into the ball. Right, so there's kind of a flash, and then the dog, as far as from your perspective, kind of disintegrates, and the particles just flow into this orb that this gentleman's holding, and then he snaps it shut and puts it on a shelf in the room and walks out, locks the door behind him, and goes through an interior door. So he doesn't go back out the way that he came. He goes back into what you would assume would either lead up to the house proper or to another area of this sub-basement.
Interesting. Was there anything left from the dog? Does the whole dog disappear, or is there like a body left, or
Nope.
all gone?
All gone. I mean, like, you can see that, like it looks to be like there is a cradle for this orb, right? And it's just sitting on the shelf next to the water bowl and next to the lead that he had the dog on earlier.
Do you think I could steal the orb and take it back to Alice to have a look at? Yeah?
You can give it a shot.
Okay.
Okay, so he did lock that area behind him. Mac, what are you doing at this point? Are you...
So Mac was kind of standing around the bodies. He probably wouldn't have seen Ruby kind of slip off. Are we still getting a feed from Wainwright at all? Like that, the bug that's on the ice?
Where are you standing?
So I'm still in the crowd at the moment.
No, you're not getting anything off Wainwright. Neither of you are.
Okay. I guess in that case, while there's a bit of a commotion and things going on, what I would try and do... So the place that you went to was like the cellar door, wasn't it?
Yes.
As in the exit where that ancient was looking at before, so you've actually gone, okay, you've gone that way.
I would speak to you over my Bluetooth though, and...
Yeah, she'd be able to tell you.
So you've actually told me there's probably nothing. In that case, I think Matt would maybe take a look towards the mansion, like so across.
Okay.
And head in that direction.
Okay, so you're still outside the mansion then?
Yeah.
What would you want to do there?
So just to see if I could get, and just kind of have a look around and see if people are still out kind of searching or what's going on. Because I know that.
So you don't see Wainwright. Most of the attendees have dispersed now that the watch has arrived, and it's the same guys from before. They're just going through the same arguments and procedures and pushing everyone back. Please step away from the crime scene, just trying to be more official than they actually are. And a couple people are getting a little too close, and so he's getting a bit whistle happy and just trying to keep some sort of, to keep the crime scene pristine or to go through protocol. And you see that people are kind of closing up the ballroom as well. So that's been locked up tight. You don't think that he's returned there, whereas the gates of the orphanage are still completely locked shut as well. All right, Ruby, so you were in this cellar of the mansion, and you saw what happened with this dog and this strange orb that the man had been holding, and you are outside of a locked gate to this area. What would you like to do?
Do you think that could do like bunny ball?
No, so this gate goes up to the ceiling. So this is kind of a locked store, which you would know that most houses would have some sort of secure storage, probably. Maybe, they might keep a variety of different things there. Anything that they would want to keep people out of for either safety reasons or for, if it's something of any value.
I need to get in that gate.
No, this is just kind of a barred front to this area of the room. Think it's almost like a jail cell. You did see him lock it and take the key with him, but it's possible that the lock could be picked.
Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna try and pick the lock then.
Okay. All right. So again, with disadvantage, but you'll roll. I think it's sleight of hand for lock picking. It'll be +8 or whatever it was for your sleight of hand. Okay. So take the 11 +8, still going to be enough. You managed to take a look at the lock, and while you don't have anything on your person, you look around and there's some kind of bits of old scrap metal and things, and so by using just kind of what's available in your surroundings, you are able to open this lock. You get the feeling that this lock was not meant to really be a stronghold. It was just meant to keep maybe prying eyes or sticky fingers away from certain things. This is an honest man's lock, but it does swing open, and so you're free to look at the items in the room.
Going straight for that orb, and I want to take it.
Okay, so on the shelf you see a water and food bowl, and you see the lead and collar that he had with it earlier, and the collar is kind of a brass tag, and on the tag it reads "Daddy."
Daddy.
Okay, so do you take the orb?
I'm gonna take the orb.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the collar too.
Okay. And what do you do with the orb at that point?
Nothing.
So you pocket the orb, and as you're heading back out across the courtyard, you're kind of avoiding the crowd and go in front of the fountain. And you do notice that the grate is now open again. It was closed when you arrived at the gala.
Something or someone has been using this to test. First of all, before I try and squeeze myself down, I'll cast full light down to see if there's anything immediately down there. You just make sure that there's no one that hiding or working below.
Okay, I mean, you see the same thing that you saw earlier. You see the sewerway and it leading west and east.
I guess something's used this sewerway. You came to the sewers before, we thought this was the sewer, but I guess given the events of what's happened, there's probably worth another look. And one that really is.
So you managed to wriggle your way down into the sewer. Roll a dexterity.
17.
Yeah, so you managed not to land directly in the sewer, just kind of like you're probably tall enough that you're straddling it.
Yeah.
Right, and managed to step to one side. And as you do, you look down towards the mansion direction, and you see quickly there seems to be a light which is approaching. Rather suddenly, you see the man from before who was walking with the dog, and he just kind of looks at you like, "Who the fuck are you?"
And that brings us to the end of this episode of Daggers and Drams. Thank you for spending your time with us, whether you're listening on your commute, painting minis, or rolling dice at your very own table. If you enjoyed the episode, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, or following the podcast wherever you listen. We'd also like to give special thanks to everyone who helps to make this show possible. Your support means more than you know. If you want to keep up with us between episodes, you can find Daggers and Drams on YouTube, Instagram, and other platforms. As always, thanks for being a part of this journey with us. Until next time, pour yourself a dram, roll your dice, keep on telling great stories.
I still wonder if I'm dead or alive. 6 feet